Welcome to this explainer. We're going to take a massive 200-question citizenship test cheat sheet and transform it into a totally dynamic crash course on what makes Canada, well, Canada. Whether you are actively studying for your citizenship test right now, or you simply want to understand the foundational fabric of this vast nation, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to break down all the complexities of history, government, and culture into clear, visual concepts that you absolutely won't forget. To make this all super easy to digest, we're navigating through 5 core pillars today. We've got rights and responsibilities, the Canadian people, shaping the nation, governing the Great Dominion, and finally, symbols and economy. Let's get right into it. Just take a look at the sheer enthusiasm here. It perfectly captures the vibrant, patriotic tone of our journey today. You know, whether you're becoming a citizen or just want to understand what it actually means to be one, it's really all about joining a community. A community that celebrates diversity, upholds individual rights, and commits to a shared set of values. So keep that energy in mind as we hit our very first pillar. All right, Section 1, Rights and Responsibilities, or as I like to call it, the social contract. So here's the thing. Canadian rights, they're rooted in some seriously deep historical principles. Take habeas corpus, for example. This protection dates all the way back to the 1215 Magna Carta, also known as the Great Charter of Freedoms. Basically, habeas corpus ensures that absolutely no one can be held by the state without valid legal reasons. It's a total cornerstone of the justice system, right alongside the fundamental presumption of innocence. You know the phrase, everyone is innocent until proven guilty? But listen, these freedoms, which were officially cemented in the 1982 Charter of Rights and Freedoms, they don't come for free. They come with strict responsibilities. In Canada, obeying the law and serving your community is a shared requirement. And when we say no one is above the law, that literally means no one, including government officials and the police. Plus, you're expected to take responsibility for yourself and your family, meaning working hard and making healthy choices. Oh, and if you get called for jury duty to help judges decide guilt or innocence, you are legally required to show up. And of course, having the incredible right to vote comes with a profound responsibility to actually get out there and participate in local, provincial, and federal elections. Moving right along to Section 2, the Canadian people. Let's look at exactly who we are. Looking at the makeup of Canada's original inhabitants, it's pretty fascinating. 65% identify as First Nations, while the rest are Métis and Inuit. Fun fact here, the term First Nations actually became widely used back in the 1970s to replace the outdated term Indian. Today, roughly half of First Nations people live on reserves, and the other half are in urban centers. Then we have the Métis, a distinct people of mixed Aboriginal and European ancestry. And finally, the Inuit, who primarily live up in the Arctic. And get this, in the Inuit language, the word Inuit beautifully translates to the people. Now, as a vast land of immigrants with 2 official languages, the population is heavily defined by Anglophones and Francophones. Though it's kind of fascinating to note that New Brunswick is actually the only officially bilingual province in the country. Most Francophones live in Quebec. We know them as Quebecers. But you also have the Acadians. They're descendants of French colonists in the Maritimes who survived the Great Upheaval, which was a forced deportation by the British way back in the 1700s. Today, that deep bilingual foundation is paired with a massive commitment to multiculturalism. It's all about celebrating the incredibly diverse backgrounds of everyone who arrives on Canada's shores. Okay, Section 3, Shaping the Nation. Let's dive into Canada's history. We're going on a quick time travel trip here. From the Iroquoian word Kanata, which literally means village, to the successful defense in the War of 1812, this timeline maps out the absolute crucial stepping stones that led to the birth of the Dominion of Canada on July 1, 1867. You can really see how the region grew, right? It went from early French settlements to this massive economic engine after King Charles II granted exclusive trading rights to the Hudson's Bay Company in 1670. And that successful defense in 1812, that was a total game changer. It ensured Canada would remain completely distinct from the United States, paving the way for Confederation. Which actually brings us to a classic citizenship test question. Who exactly were the visionaries responsible for uniting these provinces? Between 1864 and 1867, leaders from Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, and Nova Scotia all got together to form a brand new country. And here they are. These 3 figures. Sir Etienne Pascal Taché, Sir George Etienne Cartier, and Sir John A. Macdonald, who, by the way, became Canada's very first Prime Minister, they were the key architects who established Canada as a self-governing dominion. By working together, they created a system with both federal and provincial governments.
This was an arrangement born out of the British North America Act, and it basically ensured that this new nation could govern itself while still remaining a part of the British Empire.
Now that we know who built the country, let's hit Section 4, Governing the Great Dominion. Let's look at the mechanics.
Operating under the core motto of peace, order, and good government, Canada uses this really unique blend of systems. The Prime Minister directs the government, sure, but a hereditary sovereign acts as the symbolic head of state. So, as a federal state, it spans a massive geography. As a parliamentary democracy, the people elect representatives to the House of Commons. And as a constitutional monarchy, His Majesty King Charles III is the sovereign. He represents unity and continuity and acts as the guardian of constitutional freedoms, while his actual powers are, of course, strictly limited by the Constitution.
Now, to keep a country this big running smoothly, power is divided into 3 distinct levels. This ensures that everything from national defense in Ottawa down to your local municipal bylaws is expertly managed. The federal government takes care of the big picture stuff for the entire country. Think interprovincial trade, foreign policy, citizenship. The provincial governments, meanwhile, are tied a lot closer to your daily life. They handle education, natural resources, and health. And speaking of health, that's supported by the Canada Health Act, ensuring a basic standard of coverage for everyone. Finally, municipal governments manage the local day-to-day stuff by passing regulations known as bylaws.
So, how does a proposed bill actually become a binding Canadian law? Well, it takes 3 exact steps. Parliament itself is made up of 3 parts: the Sovereign, the Senate, and the House of Commons. For a bill to pass, it first has to survive debate and voting in the House, and then it goes through the exact same thing in the Senate. But wait, it isn't officially a law until it receives royal assent from the Governor-General, who acts as the sovereign's representative in Canada.
Of course, to participate in this whole democracy thing, citizens need to vote in federal elections. These are held every 4 years on the 3rd Monday in October. But here's a question for you. Do you know how many districts the country is actually divided into? Because when you go to the polls, you aren't voting directly for the Prime Minister, you're actually voting for a local representative.
If you guessed 338, you hit the nail on the head. There are exactly 338 electoral districts. Citizens aged 18 and older use a secret ballot to elect one member of Parliament to represent their local interests in the House of Commons. Now, to vote, your name absolutely must be on the National Register of Electors. On Election Day, you just take your voter information card and proof of identity to the polling station. And hey, remember that concept of the secret ballot? It means literally no one has the right to watch you vote or know who you voted for. It is 100% your private decision.
So, the party that wins the most of those 338 seats forms the government. Now, this can either be a strong majority or a minority government that requires a lot more cooperation with the official opposition. The leader of the winning party, they become the prime minister. If they secure a majority government, they have a lot of control over decisions and passing laws. But if it's a minority government, well, they have to negotiate and compromise with the opposition parties. And the opposition's very job is to peacefully oppose or try to improve those government proposals.
All right, home stretch. Section 5, Symbols and Economy. Let's talk about the culture.
From the hardworking beaver to the hockey rink and the 99 incredibly brave citizens awarded the Victoria Cross since 1854, these symbols are powerful, everyday reminders of Canada's heritage and sacrifices. Speaking of the Victoria Cross, that is actually the absolute highest honor a Canadian can receive. It's awarded for extreme bravery in the presence of the enemy. And of course, we can't forget the national anthem, O Canada, which proudly opens with that famous line, O Canada, our home and native land.
Let's pivot to the economy. Now, while the 1947 discovery of oil in Alberta massively boosted the natural resources sector and created a modern energy industry, the vast majority of Canadians today actually work in the service sector. We're talking fields like healthcare, education, and finance. This is an economy heavily built on hard work and robust international trade. And its largest international trading partner? That's right, across the border, the United States. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to chew on. Is true Canadian identity found in its historical treaties, its modern democratic elections, or the everyday responsibility of its citizens? Well, as we've seen today, it's really a blend of all 3. From that 1215 Magna Carta that laid the groundwork for today's freedoms, all the way to the bustling service economy of a bilingual multicultural nation. The Great Dominion is a continuous, living project built on peace, order, and good government. And it relies entirely on you, the informed citizen, to write its next chapter. So, what role will you play? Thanks so much for joining me, and keep exploring.